guys, I wanted to do another quick update on some dramatic court happenings that happened on Tuesday in the Lawrence Ray trial. In the morning, Ray's attorneys told the court that he had suffered a seizure that morning at the jail where he is being held, and the start of the trial was delayed by a couple of hours, but eventually Ray did appear in court and the prosecution continued making its case against him. The judge sent the jury to lunch, and the party stayed in the court discussing a few things when Ray's attorney interrupted the judge asking if there was medical personnel in the building, and it would appear that Ray was having a second seizure. The courtroom was cleared of people, and Ray was taken away in an ambulance. The New York Post snapped a couple of pictures of him strapped to a gurney with his eyes rolling back in his head, and I have to say my eyes rolled pretty far back in my head when I saw that picture. When the jury came back from lunch, the judge sent them home for the day, and from the looks of it, nothing happened today as far as the trial did not continue. When the judge sent the jury home, he made sure to point out to them that Ray's current medical issues have nothing to do with the case, in which, Ray has claimed in the past that he has been the subject of poisonings. The trial not continuing today and not knowing what Ray's medical status is makes you start to wonder if the judge will be forced to declare a mistrial if Ray is unable to participate in his defense at this time. That would really be a pity, because the prosecution has already built up a pretty good case, and now, of course, the defense has seen what that entire strategy is. Would definitely give the defense a bit of an advantage going into a second trial, because they already know the witnesses and what they're going to testify to and how the prosecution is going to build their case. And what makes this whole thing a little suspicious is not just who he is, but also that he has a history of coming down with conveniently timed ailments. And this has happened numerous times in other court proceedings that he's been involved in over the years. The testimony up until the point of the adjournment had been quite disturbing and damning. Prosecutors have shown the jury numerous videos of Ray yelling at, grabbing, and choking victims. There was a video played of Claudia confessing to hurting Ray and his business, and during the video, Ray's voice is heard off camera, leading her on to confess and not accepting no's for an answer. It's really quite sad and disturbing to see her knowing that the answer's no, that she didn't do these things, and yet the more Ray talks, the more he gets her to say exactly what he wants to hear. There are other videos of Ray threatening to publicly release videos of the victims making confessions, and others still of some of the students doing free labor at the home of Ray's stepfather. Prosecutors also have called an expert witness to explain to the jury how people like Ray manipulate others into becoming such devoted followers to the point that they will even confess to crimes that they didn't commit. I think the prosecution seems to think that this is a big hurdle, because most people look at a story like this and they say, well, that could never happen to me. I would never fall victim to a person like that. I would never confess to something that I didn't do, or I couldn't be taken in that way. And so the prosecution brought in an expert who is able to explain to the jury how this actually could happen to most people, that in the right circumstances, you kind of undergo what they call the love bombing, where the person is incredibly charismatic and nice and helpful and loving and caring to you. And so it just brings on this sense of confusion in you when that changes, and you keep trying to kind of get yourself back into that person's good graces so that they'll treat you the way they did in the very beginning, because that was such a great feeling. And so it should be interesting to see where the trial goes from here. I'm certainly hopeful that it continues, because it is so difficult to just pick a jury, much less get the trial started and have witnesses called and be brave enough to testify against Ray, and then to have to do it all over again. I mean, not to mention the huge waste of taxpayer dollars that this is. So hopefully, if he really is ill and sick, that he gets better soon. And if he's not, hopefully the judge drags him has the U.S. Marshals drag him back into court and get the trial started back up again. Until I have something more, I will keep working on some other videos that I'm doing. If you have suggestions for stories you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments down below. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye.